Hi everyone, welcome back to SwitchUp and to a video sponsored by Cubic about some of their new releases and some of their sale games.
So basically, if you are in the US, if you own one of Cubic Games' previous releases, and that includes the free to download colouring book, then you'll get a massive discount on their new releases, as well as the other games featured in this sale, which will bring the price down to just 49 cents. Now this starts on the 23rd of November in the US. Things are slightly different for the EU, where the sale starts on the 25th, and it is a blanket discount. You don't have to own a previous title.
So we're going to talk about their 4 new games first, show you a bit of footage on those before we move on to some of the discounts. The first new game they're releasing is ASMR Slicing. The blurb says you get to choose your favourite cutting tool, no matter if it's a playing card, a flosser, or just a simple kitchen knife. Just cut, and experience those satisfying ASMR sounds. Slice a variety of colourful objects made of kinetic sand. I do like kinetic sand.
It is pretty cool actually.
Yeah.
It's almost like a wonder of the world, isn't it?
There are different challenge modes in here. You can collect money, you can unlock mysterious objects and, wait for it, slice them all.
Nice.
And smash cookies with life quotes using a hammer.
There we go. All the prices for these first 4 games are the same, but they are £1.61, €1.79, or if you own a previous title, 49 cents in the US.
Then we've got Astro Miner, which releases in America on the 23rd, in which you fly to extraordinary planets with different terrains and start mining valuable minerals to sell them in your base. Create corridors to reach stacks of crystals, or do it your own way and mine wherever you like. You can hire different workers, you can build an auto miner, and there are different power-ups in here as well. You can play it with a friend by the looks of it in co-op mode, and there are multiple planets to work your way through. Also releasing on that day, we have Drawing Carnival. The blurb states, grab your neon markers, spray paints, stick on diamonds or glitter powder and use them to create an amazing masterpiece. That's what you do most days, isn't it, Glenn?
That is my life right there, in one sentence.
You've got the 5 different ways of painting or creating. There are many different pictures to complete. You can choose the style in which you want to paint, choose the different colours, and then you can actually sell your pictures to try and make a little bit of bunts.
Go. Everyone likes buns.
They do like bunts.
Bunts and
well,
burn.
you need bunts to buy sale games.
You do, exactly right, yeah.
And lastly then, for their new releases, we've got Tricky Taps, which looks like quite a fun little physics-based puzzler. It's a single player only game where you have to use the levers. Levers? Alright, we have to use the levers to roll and bounce the ball along the twisty roads without letting it drop or hit the spikes. There are 150 different levels in here, very arcadey. You've got to avoid all the different obstacles, try and beat your records. There's an endless mode in there as well. You can listen just to the soundtrack if you'd rather do that, and it's a good way to kill time.
So there we have it. Just to reiterate, those games are £1.61, €1.79 or 49 cents if you do own a previous Cubic game. And we're now going to look at a few of the games that are in the sale if the new releases don't tickle your fancy. And the US price will stay the same for all of these games. EU and UK prices will fluctuate, so just keep an eye on the bottom of the screen.
Let's start off then with Iooooo. Now I've actually played this one 4-player with my 2 kids and my wife, and it is a lot of fun. You've essentially got to make the largest hole and hoover up all of the objects in the world, very much like Katamari. There are 6 different maps, 13 different animated skins that you can apply to just show how your victory has accumulated in points, and it's really easy to control. This one is just 895 megs. If you're after a fun little party game, it might be one to consider. Which means then that Akane is also exactly the same price, and this is one of my favourite Cubic games that's ever come out. Brilliant title. If you haven't picked it up, this is one to seriously consider. We do also have a full review of that one. You can check out the link in the description. Very fast action-paced game, featuring a ninja with a katana who can murder everyone on the screen with a single hit. Shoot. Now, I know you've been waiting for this one to come back up, Glen. It is Run Sausage Run. It's another one of those ridiculous endless runners, but this one has all different costumes. I'm pretty sure I saw one in there for Donald Trump, but let's just say that's unofficial. And you have to avoid all different hazards, running your sausage from one side of the screen, jumping over things, dodging out the way, and trying not to get sliced up. Now, you know if you've watched my sales series, I'm a big fan of a Savoy, and I do believe you can have a big Savoy in here, as well as some other particularly popular sausages. Like a, I don't even know how to say that. Blauschwurst? Blauschwurst. Sheesh. Well, I do know the South African one. That's a Vetkoek. But Run Sausage Run is a multiplayer, ridiculous party game that is a lot of fun if you've got a group of friends together.
On top of that, we also have Paper IO 2, another IO game. No holes this time though.
You do get large pieces of paper, don't you? Like gradually trying to get your paper larger. Yeah, you're trying to basically dominate the map in your colour. So you gradually paint large sections and segment them off, I guess, as your own colour and overtake the world. Now this is best played with a group. So if you've got a load of you can play with up to 8 players on a single console, and it has a download of just 172 megs.
Next up we have Zombie Defense. Now in this game you'll need to fortify your base, upgrade your weapons and build more turrets to try and survive the zombie apocalypse. You'll be dealing with waves of zombie enemies across a number of different locations, using, as I mentioned, a variety of weapons. And there's also an endless game mode so you can carry on shooting as long as your heart desires, I suppose.
Yeah, if your heart doesn't desire it anymore, just put the gun down.
Yeah, leave the zombies alone.
Then you've got Bitrip Runner. The Bitrip series is excellent. There are actually many of the games on Switch, but Bitrip Runner is probably one of our favourites.
Yeah, I would say it's the best, although they are all very good as you just mentioned. They're basically rhythm games where you need to move along to the beat. In this one it's almost like an auto runner, and every time you perform an action it adds something to the music, and obviously that crescendos as you get towards the end. Really good game, fantastic game, well worth playing.
Where you're competing against your friends and family to score as many points as possible by solving riddles and becoming the riddle master. That was Jim Carrey, wasn't it?
In Batman Forever. Yeah, riddle me this, as he would say.
There are 25 different videos for you to watch, which I'm guessing have the riddles within them. There are 450 riddles in there, and you can play with up to 4 friends. There are different types of riddles, like deduction, find the difference, codes, ciphers, survival, and many more.
Do you know who would like this game?
Who?
Sherlock Holmes.
He would love it, wouldn't he?
He'd be in his element, wouldn't he?
He would never get any crimes solved.
Elementary.
Oh!
Is where he'd be.
Oh, that was painful. Oh, and it's got a pleasing voiceover.
Of Sherlock Holmes?
Well,
probably not.
No.
No.
Glen Holmes. The next one they'd like us to mention is Sword of Glory. Yeah, this little roguelite actually snuck out. I do remember seeing this one and thinking, yeah, that looks alright, and then seeing someone commented on it. They'd picked it up, I think, on Cubic's last sale and actually had a decent little time with it. You travel around to different arenas, battling different monsters. There are loads of different weapons and items to unlock. And between your fights, you can spend the gold that you've earned on different helmets, chest pieces and arm guards, and obviously weapons and stuff.
Yeah, cool. It's
a massive discount from its base price of $14.99, and you're looking at around about 780 megs to download it. Forget John Wick. Next we got Johnny Trigger, which is an action arcade game featuring Johnny himself, the International Man of Mayhem. And I'm reading that directly off the blurb. I don't know if he is the International Man of Mayhem.
Well, he's not the Man of Mystery, because that was someone else, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Might have been the Milk Tray Man.
It could well be.
Or was it James Bond?
I can't remember. Most definitely.
One of those two. It's close. Very similar in some ways.
Exactly. So you're running around, shooting, doing all kinds of carnage in the hope of taking down the mafia, apparently.
Yeah, it's very short levels, quick blasts through each one, loads of bullets, you know the drill. And as you say, with the ultimate goal of taking down the mafia.
Then another kind of endless runner style is Nom Run, which is actually from a different perspective, isn't it? So you're moving like towards the camera, away from the camera?
Away from the camera, yeah, exactly right. So you're almost going down, it's like Takeshi's Castle or something, where you're running down those big inflatable runways, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? As you say, with the camera firmly behind you, taking on friends and trying to get to the goal first.
Get to that goal first. I'm realising now that running towards the camera definitely wouldn't work, would it?
That would be the carnage you mentioned in the previous game, wouldn't it?
Exactly.
Next then we have Real Boxing 2, which as the title implies is of course a boxing game where you'll fight a host of characters on your way to try and become champion. There are some real crazy characters involved. I'm pretty sure Father Christmas is in this at some point. And for this price you could certainly do a lot worse if you are looking for a boxing game, which there aren't as many of as it used to be back in the day.
Then you've got Cooking Festival. I actually haven't heard of this one, I've got to be honest. but it looks to be a bit like Cooking Mama, you know, one of those games where customers come into your shop and you have to serve them up what they want in the time that you're given. And there's a bit of an overview where you can see more of the town and the shops that you've got available. It looks like there's one where you can make pizzas and other confectionery items. I like that word, I'm keeping it.
Yep, you'll be moving around the world as you conquer the restaurant business, and you can upgrade your recipes as you go along.
Probably one of my favourites on this list will be Goodnight Night. Now this is a 1 or 2 player, top-down Zelda-like I guess, but it does have some procedural generation in here. It looks like there's lots of different boss fights that you can go through, and I really like that pixel art style. Yeah, it goes for a 16-bit style, and as Mark said, it does have procedurally generated dungeons. There's loot to find and equip. You can mix and match to try and find your perfect setup. And there's a risk and reward management where you can choose between retreating to rest or venture onwards to try and get extra rewards. Thankfully, you won't find any permadeath here. Your progress is always saved as you move throughout the campaign.
Finally then, we've got Monster Truck Arena. Now my little boy absolutely loves monster trucks. Can't get enough of them. This one's down from the usual price of $13.99 to 49 cents, like all the others. There are 10 different vehicles in here. There's over 50 different driving missions, and there's an arena mode as well, isn't there?
Each track is a challenge full of obstacles and opportunities, and you'll be driving through flames, watching fireworks, and doing all the good stuff that they do in those monster truck arenas.
You've got multiple cameras, so you can go into first person view if that's your bag. And there are 10 different variations of Monster Truck, as I said. That's just 437 megabytes, and it is single player only. That's worth mentioning. So that is it for Cubic's latest sale. Do let us know if you'll be picking up any of these. 49 cents is a ridiculous price, it has to be said. I think I might actually get that little monster truck one for my boy.
Yeah, it looked decent. Don't forget that the prices do vary across regions, and they would have been at the bottom of the screen for each game, so just keep an eye out there. And you can get the full details, including all the games on sale, over at Cubic Games website, cubicgames.com/crazy. A quick thank you to our patrons and our channel members for your continued support, and to each and every one of you for watching our videos. Take care, and until next time, happy gaming.